Good morning, dear readers. I'm really happy to be with you. I will tell you immediately why, but it's so warm in Belgium that even in the morning, it's early morning, my voice is still a little bit husky. It's even warm in the morning, and that's quite exceptional. You could go outside just in a t-shirt. But anyhow, I have my coffee as usual. And why am I so happy? It's because we're still 40 people reading. I thought we would have to stop reading this book because it's really hard, it's difficult, it's great French literature, but we are reading as long as we are 10 people reading, we go on and we are 40. So remember, we were talking about the childhood of Jean Valjean, not only his childhood, also when he was a young man. And so he worked hard. He was also working comme homme de peine. You could translate it by as a man of pain, but I think it means like as a laborer, as a hard working person, like laboring work. Okay, il faisait ce qu'il pouvait. He did what he could. So if you have questions about grammar, please ask me and I will make videos. So, sa sœur travaillait de son côté, mais que faire avec 7 petits-enfants? So his sister worked de son côté, like on her side, but what to do with 7 little children? So the sister had 7 little children, no husband. The parents of Jean Valjean and his sister were dead. So there is a sister with 7 kids, and then there is Jean Valjean, who is still a young man. C'était un triste groupe que la misère enveloppa et étreignit peu à peu. So it was a sad group that misery, yes, misery surrounded, envelope, it's a bit like an envelope, but like surrounded. Misery surrounded this group and étreigni, maybe embraced, but here we could almost say choked, like with the arms around, they embraced or choked bit by bit. So really a miserable group. Il arriva qu'un hiver fut rude. Now, the verb arriver means to arrive, but also to happen. And here it's to happen. So it happened that a winter was maybe not rude, but tough. Jean n'eut pas d'ouvrage. Jean didn't have any work. La famille n'eut pas de pain. The family did not have bread. And I say it maybe a very last time that this form of the verb to have, it's what you call the passé simple. We would rather translate it with a simple past, which when you talk would be avait. But so here when you write, especially in old literature, you use the passé simple. So the family had no bread. Pas de pain, no bread. À la lettre, so literally, no bread. 7 enfants, 7 children. Un dimanche soir, Maubert Isabeau, boulanger sur la place de l'église à Faverolles, se disposait à se coucher. Maybe we already go until there. So, one Sunday night, Maubert Isabeau, it's a name, the baker of the place, it's a square, like a market square. So the church square, église is church. At Faverolles, Faverolles, it's a place. Se disposait, was getting ready, was disposing himself, but was getting ready to lay down, se coucher, but means to go to sleep. Lorsqu'il entendit un coup violent dans la devanture grillée et vitrée de sa boutique. So, when he heard a violent blow in the devanture means like the front of the store, could say the storefront. And this front of the store, this facade, if you want, was grillé et vitré. So grillé means not grilled here, but so there was like kind of a fence or a gate. So it was with a gate, and vitré, like windowed, with a window or glazed of his shop. So this front part was with a gate and a window. Il arriva à temps pour voir un bras passer à travers un trou fait d'un coup de poing dans la grille et dans la vitre. So he arrived in time to see un bras, an arm, passed through a hole made by un coup de poing. It's like a punch, a blow with your fist. So a blow in the gate and in the window. Le bras saisit un pain et l'emporta. So the arm seized or took a bread and took it with him. Emporter means to take with you. Isabeau sortit en hâte. So Isabeau, the baker, went out. En hâte means like hastily. You see the word haste in there, but means like quickly. He went outside. Le voleur s'enfuyait à toutes jambes. So the thief was fleeing, was like running away with all his legs. Means like very fast. Isabeau courut après lui et l'arrêta. So Isabeau, the baker, ran after him and stopped him. Le voleur avait jeté le pain, mais il avait encore le bras ensanglanté. So the thief had thrown away the bread, but he had still the arm ensanglanté. Well, you see the word sang in there. Sang means blood. So it means like blood-stained or like full of blood. C'était Jean Valjean. It was Jean Valjean. Okay, so that's what happened, and that's probably how we got to prison. Let me get a little bit more coffee. That's what I need in the morning. Good. Really happy you're with me. Ceci se passait en 1795. So this happened. You see, to happen in French, it could be arriver or se passer. Both mean to happen. So it happened in 1795. Jean Valjean fut traduit devant les tribunaux du temps pour vol avec effraction la nuit dans une maison habitée. So, Jean Valjean was, translated in front of the courts. So, tribunaux, it's the plural of tribunal, and it means court. Here it's used in the plural, but he was like brought in front of the court of that time, for theft with, and effraction is like breaking in, or maybe the exact word would be theft with trespassing, maybe. During the night in a inhabited house. So that was what it said on the paper of the court. Jean Valjean fut déclaré coupable. So Jean Valjean was declared guilty. And remember, fut comes from the verb to be, être, passé simple. Les termes du code étaient formels. So the terms of the code, of the text, were formal. So formal means, well, no doubt he was guilty. Il y a dans notre civilisation des heures redoutables. There are in our civilization hours that are terrible. There are terrible hours. Ce sont les moments où la pénalité prononce un naufrage. So, ce sont, it is, but it's plural, it is moments where the penalty or the punishment pronounces a shipwreck. So what is he saying here? Sometimes you pronounce a sentence, you judge a person guilty, and this makes a total shipwreck. It provokes a total shipwreck. And you will see that from here, well, the writer, Victor Hugo, is already giving an opinion and is already saying that sometimes, well, our society is not so very nice or understanding. OK? Quelle minute funèbre que celle où la société s'éloigne et consomme l'irréparable abandon d'un être pensant. So here you have it. So what a minute, what a funeral minute, but not funeral in English, but you see in funèbre, you see funeral. I would say what a gloomy minute. Then the one where society s'éloigne, like walks away, because in the verb s'éloigner, you see the word loin, far. So it's going far away, is walking away, and consumes the irreparable abandonment of a thinking being. So, because all the situation together, if you look at the situation, what is this? Our society is, in fact, declaring guilty a man who is trying to find bread for 7 small children. Jean Valjean fut condamné à 5 ans de galère. So Jean Valjean was judged, was sentenced to 5 years of, well, galère, it's like a galley slave. You know, those galleys were those big ships of the king. And, well, so the people who were convicted, they had to work on those big ships. Il partit pour Toulon. So he left for Toulon. He went to Toulon, also city in France. Il y arriva après un voyage de 25 jours sur une charrette, la chaîne au cou. So he arrived there, and there is the little E here. He arrived there after a trip of 27 days on a cart, you know, a cart behind a horse, the chain around the neck. Yes, because now he was a convict. À Toulon, il fut revêtu de la casaque rouge. So in Toulon, he was redressed with the red jacket. Well, this is the clothes you wore when you were working for the king. Tout s'effaça de ce qui avait été sa vie, jusqu'à son nom. So everything was effacé, was erased of what had been his life. And then jusqu'à means like until his name, which here really means like even his name. Il ne fut même plus Jean Valjean, il fut le numéro 24601. So he was even not anymore. Même plus means even not anymore. Jean Valjean, he was the number 24601. Jean Valjean était entré au bagne, sanglotant et frémissant. So Jean Valjean had entered, bagne means prison, sanglotant, like weeping, crying, and frémissant, trembling. Il en sortit impassible. So he got out of it. The of it is the en. He got out of it impassible, like no reaction, yeah? Stone-faced, unemotional. So they really killed him and they killed his feelings. That's the message. And you see that Victor Hugo is already giving his opinion. Il y était entré désespéré. Il en sortit sombre. So he had entered there desperately. He came out of it dark and gloomy, sombre. Que s'était-il passé dans son âme? Like, what had happened in his soul, like inside himself? So that's a question the writer is asking. We're going to the next page. Yeah, you know, we're going to read 2 pages. Really nice. You're with me. Here we are. Essayons de le dire. So let's try to say it. Like to say what? Like to say what happened in his soul. Il faut bien que la société regarde ces choses, puisque c'est elle qui les fait. You know that this il faut construction, it comes back all the time in all kind of tenses, and it means it's necessary. Huh? So it's very well necessary that society looks at those things since or because it is her, but her here, elle, is la société. It's society itself who makes them. Those things that happen to people. C'était, nous l'avons dit, un ignorant. Mais ce n'était pas un imbécile. So it was, or he was, we have said it already, an ignorant person, Jean Valjean. But it was not an imbecile. He was not stupid. La lumière naturelle était allumée en lui. This, I think, is really a nice sentence. I don't think we would say it like that nowadays. But so the natural light was lit in him. So, well, he was not totally stupid. He had some sense. Beautiful sentence, I think. Le malheur, qui a aussi sa clarté, augmenta le peu de jours qu'il y avait dans cet esprit. So le malheur means misery or the fact of being unlucky, but here I think I would say misery, who has also its light, clarté, who is also sometimes, well, has moments of light. Augmenta, and augmenter means to increase or to grow, like grew the little light, because light, jour means day, but it can also mean daylight. So the little of daylight that there was in his spirit. So he became totally gloomy, okay? Sous le bâton, sous la chaîne, au cachot, à la fatigue, sous l'ardent soleil du bagne, sur le lit de planche des forçats, il se replia en sa conscience et réfléchit. So under the stick which is hitting him, under the chain, he's chained, of course, in his cell, totally tired, à la fatigue, yeah, under the tiredness, under the burning sun of the prison, on the bed of planches, wooden boards of convicts, he se replier means like to go inside yourself. I think I will translate it by maybe pulling back inside himself. So he pulled back in his conscience and reflected, like he reflected or he was thinking. Il se constitua tribunal. That's also an interesting sentence because it says he became or he established himself the court. That means he started judging himself. he started judging. So he's telling himself, yes, you're a bad person. What did you do? This is really horrible. So he started to judge himself. Yeah, here comes the sentence. Yes, as I said. Il commença par se juger lui-même. So he started by judging himself. Il reconnut qu'il n'était pas un innocent injustement puni. So he recognized, he agreed that he was not an innocent unjustly punished. Il s'avoua qu'il avait commis une action extrême et blâmable. So he admitted to himself that he had committed an extreme action and blamable. So he did something very, very wrong. Qu'on ne lui eût peut-être pas refusé ce pain s'il avait demandé. That one, or you know that on, we can translate it by one, but also by they, that they eût refusé, would not have refused to him, maybe, this bread if he had asked for it. Que dans tous les cas, il eût mieux valu l'attendre, soit de la pitié, soit du travail. So that, in all cases, he'd better. And this whole construction, il eût mieux valu, means it would have been better to wait for the bread, or by pity, or by work, earning money by working and then buying the bread. Que ce n'est pas tout à fait une raison sans réplique de dire, so that it is not totally a reason, let's say a good reason, without réplique, without an argument to say. So it was not, I think the sans réplique here, I think in English you would say une raison sans réplique. It's like a good reason, a reason to which you cannot reply. So it would not have been a good reason to say, peut-on attendre quand on a faim? Can one wait for pity or for money, when one is hungry? Que d'abord, il est très rare qu'on meure littéralement de faim. That first of all, it is really rare that one dies literally of hunger. He was all saying that to himself, right? Ensuite, que malheureusement ou heureusement, l'homme est ainsi fait qu'il peut souffrir longtemps et beaucoup. And after that, so ensuite, that unfortunately or fortunately, the human being is made like this, fait is made ainsi like this, that he can suffer long and a lot, moralement et physiquement, sans mourir. So morally and physically, without dying. Il fallait donc de la patience. That, and we again have this construction il faut, but here it's in the past tense, so that it was necessary to have patience. Que cela eût mieux valu même pour ces pauvres petits-enfants. That eût mieux valu, we have again the same expression, it would have been better, even for those poor little children. Que c'était un acte de folie, à lui, malheureux, homme chétif, de prendre violemment au collet la société tout entière et de se figurer qu'on sort de la misère par le vol. Also very interesting sentence. That it was an act of folly of him, of himself, miserable, weak man, chétif means weak, to take violently, au collet, to the color of the society. It means like, yes, on the back of society, of the total society, and to imagine, se figurer means to imagine, that one gets out of misery by theft. Que c'était dans tous les cas une mauvaise porte pour sortir de la misère, que celle par où l'on entre dans l'infamie. That it was, so he's again saying to himself that it was, in all cases, a bad door to get out of misery than the one, so the door, par où, by which you enter in infamy or disgrace or shame, if you want to. Enfin, qu'il avait eu tort. All in all, so enfin, it's like some kind of a conclusion, like, after all, he had been wrong. He should never have taken that bread. You will not die, even the small kids, it's better not to steal. That's what he's saying to himself. One paragraph and we have finished. So, puis il se demanda, then he asked himself, s'il était le seul qui avait eu tort dans cette fatale histoire. So, if he had been the one who had been wrong, avoir tort, this means to be wrong, that he had been wrong in this fatal story. Si d'abord ce n'était pas une chose grave qu'il eût, lui, travailleur, manqué de travail, lui, laborieux, manqué de pain. So first, the previous paragraph said, well, I'm totally wrong. You do not get out of misery by stealing. Okay, but now he's trying to say, am I the only one wrong in this story? And if, first of all, it was not a seriously bad thing that he had, he, hard worker, lacked of work, so that he didn't have work, wasn't it a bad thing in society? He, laborieux, really hardworking, lacked of bread, so not having bread. Si ensuite la faute commise est avouée, le châtiment n'avait pas été féroce et outré. So if, after that, the fault, that was committed and admitted, because he admitted that he stole the bread. So the fault was committed, the mistake was done, was admitted. If le châtiment, so the punishment, had not been ferocious and outrageous. So now he starts thinking, just for stealing a bread. Okay, so you see, all that is going inside his head, and that is so wonderful with Victor Hugo. He can really describe all psychological, physical aspects of people. Very, very, very good and deep psychology of the human being. Really happy you were with me. I'm going to continue my coffee. Have a wonderful day and really, really hope you will be with me next week.